Dude, what up? What up? What up? What up?
Greetings and salutations to all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Let's let the home team in real quick. What's going on with y'all?
Yes,
It's been a
yes.
minute since it was a Wednesday for us.
It has. It has. Let me get this updated. Um,
Back signal was going out.
we got a lot to talk about today. A lot going on these days. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody is taking it easy, getting ready for holiday weekend. And just catching the vibe, man. It's important. Very important situation. We just came back from Abu Dhabi and Dubai. I'm sure you probably seen what we did on Instagram or heard about it on Market Monday. So legendary situation, very eye-opening experience for sure. For sure. Um, all right. So yeah, we'll let this marinate for a little bit. But want to talk about a few things. So this is the first time that we've done open enrollment in a couple of months.
Yeah.
It's been a while for anybody that's not familiar with open enrollment. Open enrollment, we traditionally do this the last Wednesday of the month. And this wasn't the last Wednesday of the month, but we just kind of rescheduled it a little bit. But it's a window into EYO University. That was kind of the whole premise of it, was to kind of give people an idea of what we have going on here at EYO University. But obviously we've been traveling, we've been moving around, we've been doing a lot of stuff, so we haven't actually been able to do one of these on YouTube in a long period of time. But felt that now was a good time to bring it back, and also it's perfect timing with the relaunch of EYO University, which we'll be talking about in detail. But first, wanted to kind of just let you guys know what will be going on today during this session. So we're going to be talking about credit. We're going to be talking about business branding, and we're going to be talking about real estate. We have some esteemed guests. We have Dan Fleyshman. We have Herman Dolce. We have Matthew Garland. And we're going to be answering questions towards the end. We're going to, have Q&A. So very educational, timely, um, webinar, I think, because these are all extremely important topics right now, but especially heading into 2023. And this is where we're at right now. So, it's important for you guys to start planning your next year, because it's here pretty much.
Yeah, there's no time better than right now. I mean, it's the fourth quarter now, but the first quarter is how you want to set your year off. And when you got people talking about how to build business credit, talking about how to build your brand from a marketing standpoint, talking about real estate, I mean, these are things that can change your life, right? Like, these aren't just things that can change your day. This can change your life, can change your family's life. And anytime you're going to have people of like this level of this caliber of expertise, man, you got to take advantage of it. So shout out to everybody that's in here. I see the earners are piling in. Shout out to everybody on the tube. This is going to be one of them sessions, and I'm glad we're back doing it. I kind of miss it a little bit. I feel like these open enrollments were just jam packed with information, people from the highest level, in their fields. And tonight is no exception. We got a jam packed show. We might have a few surprises. We'll see.
You never know.
You never know. You never know who we know.
That's a fact. So, all right. So let's get into this. But first, before we start, I'll give you a rundown of EYOU. Of course, if you're familiar with us, you know that we do, the classes every week. We do the financial planning calls with myself. We do the book club headed by Troy. We do the MG, the Mortgage Guys, Homebuyers, Blueprint, Volume 1, Volume 2, real estate calls. But we're revamping it. We'll talk about, that a little later. But, we see the landscape changing, and we see our position in leadership rising. So, we wanted to kind of add a higher level of service, a higher level of, curriculum and make it more of a structured organization. So we've been actually working on this for 6 months, and just announced a few things, and we'll be announcing more things to come. But a lot of exciting stuff happening. We're gonna be rolling out live interactive courses, chapters across the United States and across the world, like real graduations, private community events. So we wanted to just double down. We already built the community, but we wanted to see how we can actually take it to the next level education. That's what everything that we do is kind of like next level, right? So it's like, okay, we had to assess what was going on and then see, okay, how can we 10x this situation and make it, 100 times more powerful. So we'll be announcing everything on Friday, but in the meantime, you can text the word learn, LEARN, to 401-238-7479 to be added to the wait list, and you will get all the updates and all the information once everything is announced. So I'm going to pin that in YouTube, and once again, that is text the word learn to 401-238-7479, and you will be added to the wait list, and you will get all the updates and everything as everything unrolls.
Yeah.
So
I think that's one of the beautiful things, right? Like, as we're doing this, we're realizing like we could be better, and what better way to do it than show people like, yo, we're gonna get better. Here's how we're gonna do it. It's just one of those things that it's happening in real time, and just like everything we've done is happening in real time. And like we've always said, like anytime we do something, it's historic because it's never been done before. So we built a community, obviously EYO University. It started in 2019, in December 2019, with maybe like 70 people. And to see how fast it's grown, it's like, great, this is great. How can we be better? So we looked at the landscape and we said, all right, we like that piece over there. Oh, that piece is good. We can add that. Let's make this the best educational experience, the most expansive educational experience that is out there. And so I'm so happy to show the earners and show everybody what we got, man. It's going to be a historic day, historic weekend. All around.
Probably so. Probably so. So, okay, let's bring Dan up if we can.
Oh, let's bring him up. There you go. I see him right there. Perfect. He just raised his hand. Made it even easier.
Yes. Very excited to have this conversation to start it off. Hey, what's going on?
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Just happy to be here. I'm really impressed with you guys. I've been watching you for years, so I'm happy to be here.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So if anybody that is not familiar with Dan, I'll give his rundown. He is the youngest founder of a publicly traded company in history. Could probably just stop there.
Yeah, keyword history.
That's extremely impressive.
That means like ever.
That's an extremely impressive feat. After licensing his apparel for $9.5 million at the age of 19, he went on to scale an energy drinks product into 55,000 retail stores. Over the years, he's launched one of the top 5 online poker sites globally, has thrown 49 elevator night events, co-founded 100 million mastermind experience, spoken at over 250 business events, angel invested in 43 companies, and his agency has spent over $60 million with social media influencers, fashion brands, film studios, mobile apps, and consumer products. As just a mastermind when it comes to business branding, and the new age of business that we're in right now when it comes to social media influencers and what we're on now, YouTube, TikTok, different things of that nature is extremely important. And Dan has been a mastermind and somebody that a lot of our friends have built relationships with.
Yep.
And they all speak extremely highly of him. So first and foremost, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Did we miss anything?
My charity for the homeless. We've been doing it for 11 years. We make backpacks for the homeless with 150 items inside. That's
Very
my real
important. Very important.
Especially at this time of year, absolutely.
All right. So let's start this off. So I would like to talk to you about, branding. Business branding is extremely important. But let's start off with something that, I'm very passionate about when it comes to content creation. And I saw a post where you talked about, the best things online are free. Like they say, the best things in life are free. The best things online is free. Like you can scale your business and grow it organically, and you really don't have to have a budget. So this is
Right.
extremely important conversation. So can you talk about that?
Yep. So the hard part for most people on social media is that they have these things in their mind of why they can't do it or why they don't want to do it or why it's scary. They're like, I'm not going to do TikTok because I got to dance around. I only do business videos. I don't dance around on TikTok and I get lots of views. You can too. They're like, I don't want to tweet. I don't know if anybody's going to listen. People go viral with 400 followers and get millions of views off of Twitter because of the way the virality works on Twitter. People get like, I don't want to do Facebook because I don't want to see my aunt and uncle argue about politics. You don't have to use it as social media. You can just use it as media. You don't have to do the social part if you don't want to. If you don't like Facebook, don't do it. You don't like TikTok, you don't have to use it for the social element, but you do need to use it for media because you have a personal brand, whether you like it or not. Your friends from high school think about you. Your coworkers think about you. The people in your neighborhood think about you. People interact with you and they think about you and you have a personal brand. It's up to you to decide if you're going to tell your story or let them gossip and have rumors and think about you without you telling your story. And so for me, the reason I'm so passionate about social media is that I've watched it change so many people's lives, and I've watched people make money, make careers, make babies. Like a lot of things happen when you create social media content, and it's free. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, every single one of those platforms is free. So there's no excuse about the budget part because it's free. You already have a fancy phone because you're watching right now on a laptop or an iPhone or an Android. So you already have a really fancy phone, a really fancy camera. So everything that you need to make social media is completely free.
Yeah, that's important. And can you talk about the importance of where you're placing the content? I know you said that, I'd rather have 2,000 hits on LinkedIn rather than 20,000 views on Instagram. Having the importance of where you're placing the content and the value add of each one of those.
Yep. So depending on your career, passion, or hobby, there's going to be different platforms for you. LinkedIn is very, very business focused, which is why it's the best platform. When you're trying to be a real estate agent, an investor, an accountant, you're looking for a job, you're trying to hire people, LinkedIn is the best platform for that. But it might not be the platform you make your content for. Most people make their content for Instagram or Facebook. What you can do is then repurpose that exact same content on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Facebook, etc. So you're going to make your content for a platform that you're comfortable with, which is usually Instagram or Facebook, and then repurpose that exact same content on the other platforms. What you're not going to do is don't post about your dogs on LinkedIn. You're not going to post about kids on LinkedIn. That's more for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and Twitter. LinkedIn is going to be very business career focused. But all the other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, you can post the exact same content on all those platforms and then use your business content on LinkedIn.
So I want to talk about building relationships. I know you worked with the Kardashians, right?
Yep.
So how did that go? What's the story behind that?
So that started back in the Fashion Nova days when Fashion Nova was first getting started. I was driving to Kylie's house and driving to Kim's house and dropping off dresses and a cashier's check or wire transfer, whatever it was back then, to do posts. And then Fit Tea, I was doing their campaigns. They were spending 6 figures a month with me, sometimes millions of dollars a month with me. Same thing, I'd go over to Kylie's house, go over to Kim's house, drop off Fit Tea, explain what I wanted for the posts. And from there, I was doing Black China, Scott Disick, Amber Rose, all the different characters on social media when it was first getting started. They only had 500,000 followers, then 1 million, then 2 million, 10 million. They didn't have hundreds of millions of followers like now. And so watching the evolution of it has been fascinating to see the Fashion Novas, the Fit Teas, Pretty Little Thing, all these different brands that have scaled from social media. But it all really started back in the Fashion Nova Fit Tea days.
Okay. So my follow-up question for that is, for people that's looking to work with influencers now, what advice would you give them to, start working? Like if they have a clothing brand or if they are a trainer, what advice would you give people that's looking to work with influencers?
Absolutely. It's never been easier to get connected with an influencer because you can just slide in their DMs. They have their email addresses most of the time in their bios. And you can also go to platforms where they're not as big. So let's say they're on Instagram and they got 3 million followers. They might not see your DMs, but on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, they might only have 4,000 followers or 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, etc. So it's easier to connect with them, not on their main platform, by DMing or emailing them on a different platform. Also, be really clear with what you want to offer. So if you're saying, I want to give you free clothes, or I want to pay you $200 or $500 or $1,000 or whatever you want to pay for the post, make that clear in the first 5 words of your message so that they open up your message. This is really important. Don't say, hi, how are you doing? And then say, I want to pay you $500, because what'll happen is if I'm Amber Rose or I'm Tyga and I'm looking at your DM that came in, I'm going to see, hi, how are you doing? I've got thousands of those. So I'm not even going to open it if I'm the influencer. Does that make sense? So it's important in the very first few words to say paid post, free close. Start off with exactly what you want to offer in the first 5 words so that they can see it.
That makes perfect sense. That happens a lot. If I look at my DMs and somebody says, hey, Mr. Millens, I'm always looking because I feel like there's a student from my past that's reaching out to me. So that's very important. I want to talk about the consistency, right? As you're networking and you're gaining, obviously, clients, you have to be consistent with what you're putting up. But what's the strategic plan that you have, or does it change based on clients' needs?
Yep. So what's interesting for our agency, for example, we paid 3,500 influencers just this year. So 3,500 separate W-9 influencers. And if you understand influencers, that's like chasing cats, like to try to get them to fill out a W-9 form is not easy in the influencer space. That happened because of the consistencies for the last 9 years. I have no long-term contracts. I do all the TV shows for BET for the last 4 years. I do everything for Oracle for the last 5 years. All my clients are 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 9 years, etc. from consistency, not from them being locked into contracts. I don't even have a long-term contract. The way I do it is everything I say, I under promise and I over deliver. And by doing that, even if it's just by a little bit, if I do that, the clients are going to reorder over and over and over. And that's what my whole life's been like, is that I always say, hey, you know what? We're going to get you 1 million views. If we get them 1.9 million, what's going to happen? They're going to reorder, right? But what if I over exaggerate? I say, you know what? I'm going to get you 2.5 million views. And then I get them 1.9. I'm a failure, right? They're going to fire me. And so I always underestimate what I'm going to do for them, and don't ever say like, I'm going to get you 50 posts and then get them 45. They'll hate me. If I say I'm going to get you 30 posts and get them 45, I 50% over delivered. And so I'm not going to ever lose a client by saying something that's a realistic number and then overperforming. A lot of times people say, I'm going to get you 100 different posts and I'm going to get you 100 million views. Why would you don't have to do that. You don't have to exaggerate. And so I'm really big on under promising and over delivering.
Yeah, that's extremely important. And I learned that, I used to be in financial services, and it's like, as an advisor, like you might tell somebody, you can expect a 6% rate of return over the course of a couple of years. And then if they get a 12% rate of return, then they're looking at you like, you're a hero. But if you told them that you're going to get an 18% rate of return, even if they get 15% rate of return, which actually beats the market, they're disappointed because the expectations that you set early on were too high. That's an extremely valuable lesson. You have to know how to set not even realistic expectations, a little lower than realistic expectations, so you can over deliver. And now psychologically, you look like a champion as opposed to somebody that didn't hit the benchmark.
In all aspects of life. Imagine you tell your wife, I'm going to be home at 9 o'clock and you get there at 9:25. You're in trouble, right? If you say I'm going to get there at 10 o'clock, get there at 9:25, you're a hero.
I miss you so much, honey. I came home early.
I want to talk about branching out, right? So it's like you have multiple streams of income, and this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with as well, where they always hear that the saying you need 7 streams of income, and I always say, like, it's not necessarily that you need 7 different businesses or 7 different jobs. You just need to perfect one thing really well, and then you'll have spinoffs off of that one thing. So like a restaurant, right? Like a restaurant owner can now, write a cookbook. A restaurant owner can now, be a private chef. They can coach, they can consult other restaurants. So you can create a whole ecosystem of revenue streams based off of one level of expertise. So how have you been able to kind of, diversify your business model by doing multiple different things off of your core principle of business?
So my core business is Elevator Studios. That's my social media agency. I've done it for 9 years. I'm going to do it for many, many years. I'm never going to sell it because you can't sell an agency. You only get a 1x multiple usually on agencies. So I'm never going to exit my agency. I use it for leverage to do exactly what you just said. I now have Elevator Rolling Fund, which is my hedge fund. I have Elevator Syndicate, which is 846 investors in my syndicate group. So I get 20% in fees when I invest into deals. We did $41 million in investments just this year. So I'm using my social media agency as my leverage point to pay influencers, to build the brand, get connections with brands, relationships, make influencers happy because I'm paying them for stuff. And then when I invest in the companies, I now have favors, right? Because I invest in this company, I say, hey, I made you 100 grand the last 4 months on social media. Will you post about this drink or this food or this skateboard or this brand or this bike or this restaurant, whatever? And they're happy to do it because I've helped make them money. And so I use my core business, exactly like you said, and then I branch out where I'm speaking at events. I throw elevator nights, which is my free event. I don't make money from that, but it's my free event that I bring in 300 to 1,000 guests at each event. But all these things build relationship. Some of them build income, but all of it comes from the stem of, this is my core business. I do social media posts. I've done 110,000 paid posts. That's my day job. That's my core business. And then all the other things are tacked on under the exact same name too. It's all elevator, just like you said.
There was a lot inside of it. And I'm glad you brought up the syndicate investing, because I was watching the clip on it. I'm like, that's pretty interesting. Can you break down exactly syndicate investing and I guess angel investing? Because I feel like maybe our audience is familiar with the angel side of it, but you spoke about syndicate. Can you break that down?
Yep. So as an angel investor, that's you as an individual. So I've done 43 angel investments, on average 100,000 to 500,000 per check. Most angel investments range from 25,000, which is kind of the average check, to 100,000. Even the really, really wealthy guys are doing 25K to 100K. And then when they get into it deeper, they'll start to do 250, 500, et cetera, if they're really behind a brand, if they're really behind a business. On the syndicate side, the 846 investors that are there, that's where I'm able to do a Zoom call like this and say, hey, I'm raising money for, let's call it Everbowl, which is an acai bowl chain. I'm raising money for Everbowl. I'm investing 500,000. My friend's investing 100,000. This person's investing 200,000. So collectively, me and 4 friends, we're putting in $1 million. We're raising $4 million more. Now, the syndicate members can make a decision. It's completely free, completely optional. If they want to invest, they can say, I'll do 25K, I'll do 50K, I'll do 100K. And they can text or email saying that they're going to invest as a group. Now, those 42 people come in. We've raised the $4 million plus the $1 million that me and my friends are contributing. So now we have $5 million to give to the company, Everbowl in this example. We then give the $5 million to the company. The founders are happy because they're getting one check. All of the people in the syndicate group have to wire to me at Elevator Syndicate. And then I wire one check to the company, which is important because the company doesn't have to deal with 47 different people. They just deal with me. They have optional to interact with them because they're strategic investors, but they don't have to. So syndication deals are really powerful in that fashion for an entrepreneur, because you can collectively raise a bunch of money in smaller 25K, 50K, 100K checks for the company. Now, the syndicate in our situation, there is a 20% carry. So some people take a 2 and 20. It was like a normal hedge fund where you take 2% of the money raised. So 5 million in that example. Normally we take 2%. We don't take that. And then 20%, and I'm not saying you shouldn't in case you do a syndicate, you can and should take the 2%. And then the 20% carry is when that company sells. So let's say we put in 5 million at a 15 million valuation. We own a third of the business in that example. Later, that company that was worth 15 million sells for 60. The syndicate investors get their money back at the 15 million valuation. And then out of the 45 million, we then get 20% of their profits. So we don't get any money from what they put in, but we get 20% above. So let's say you put in 100,000 and you got back 400,000. We would get 20% of the 300,000 profit as a syndicate group. And you guys can replicate this for business. People can do it for real estate as well. It's a different model. You can't use AngelList. AngelList is what we use. That's the biggest platform in the world. It's very inexpensive to use it if anybody wants to do a syndicate. But we use AngelList. You cannot do that for real estate, but you can do syndication deals for real estate. It's a really powerful way to raise capital and smaller checks for one big deal.
So you're in the business. You say you put up hundreds of thousands of posts, right? Okay, this is the $1 million question. What is the secret formula for having posts work? Like what works and what does not work?
So what's interesting is I've handwritten almost all the captions out of the 110,000 posts we've done. Almost every caption I've written, and the basic things are the human eye. The brain, when we're scrolling through social media and we see something that we like that gets us the serotonin, we see the visual thing, that photo or video. Let's say Kylie Jenner is holding up Glow Water last week, right? Visually, you see her holding up Glow Water. The caption has to be easily readable. If the caption would have said, I'm Kylie, I love Glow Water, thank you and shout out to this photographer, this location, this makeup artist, this hairstylist. The human eye would see too many things and too many tags, and we wouldn't think about Glow Water, and we wouldn't click on it because there's too much action happening. If it says, I love Glow Water, now us as consumers and followers know what to do, right? She says, I love Fashion Nova, or thank you to Fit Tea, etc. The human eye knows what to do because there's only 3 to 8 words of what to click on. If it starts to be not a sentence, the human eye will skip through it. When you give us too many options, we choose none. And so it's really important when you do shout outs, when you do influencer campaigns, make the caption really easy to read. Ideally, it's like 4 to 15 words, and it's not like a speech. It's not tagging multiple things. There's no extra hashtags. It's just think about what the human eye can see, and think about for yourself, when you're scrolling through, what do you want to look at? If you see something with 5 tags in it, you're not going to click any of them because there's too much noise.
So you said how many words at max?
You want 4 to 15. So that way it doesn't go more than 3 sentences on Instagram, for example. You don't want to go more than 3 sentences because then it becomes under the fold. Under the fold means they have to click it to be able to see the rest of the words. You don't want to be able to you don't want them to have to click it.
How often are you updating, the changes that are happening on social media, right? Because that makes sense and it sounds like, yeah, we could do that. But then there's the algorithm that catches us and then people don't see what we're posting. How do you combat that?
So the hard part with the algorithm is it changes every day, not every week, not every month. We just don't notice all the little changes that happen as they're testing, and they're testing for different segments, different audiences, different countries, different cities, etc. So there's a lot of changes happening. The main thing to keep in mind is if you want people to see your content is keep your photos and videos for the people that are watching, not for yourself. If you make shareable content, people engage with it, whether you show them something interesting, make them laugh, or teach them something. If you do one of those 3 things, if you teach them something, they will share it. If they share it, Instagram knows, ding, you're doing something good because someone forwarded your post. If they see that people are liking it, ding, they see that people like it. Now they're going to show it to more people. If you made them laugh and they're tagging their friends, ding. See what you have to make people want to engage. And the way you do it is make the content for the people. That part will never change. The algorithm will always reward engagement on the post. And the way to get engagement is to make it for the people watching, not for yourself.
So how do you feel about videos? How long should a video be? Because now every video is a reel, even if it's 4 minutes, it's still a reel.
Yep.
And we know that reels perform better than just regular videos. How long should a video be?
So for the most part, I don't do any videos on over 59 seconds. We live in a very ADD society, and TikTok has made it even faster. Vine first made it really fast at 6 seconds. Instagram was 15 seconds, and then finally became 60, and then they made IGTV. But IGTV is the proof that people are not watching long-form content on Instagram because IGTV is not here. So people are not going through that platform to watch long-form content. They are there for short-form content. Same thing with IG stories. You want to keep your clips under 15 clips because if you have 45 clips, we're going to skip all of them because we're not in that time. We're not there in our mindset. When we're looking at IG stories, we want it to be fast. And so when someone's enjoying Instagram, you want to keep those videos to under a minute for the most part, unless you need a deep dive, unless you need to go down the rabbit hole. On YouTube, it's the opposite. Unless you're doing a YouTube short, you want to make 4-minute, 12-minute, 20-minute videos because that's where people are going for long-form content. YouTube is like TV to people, so they'll watch long-form content. But for the most part, just keep in mind what you would watch. If you're on Instagram, you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, under 60 seconds is what I do for all my videos because I want it, and all my ads. I don't do any ads over 59 seconds. Never. It's never happened and never will. You want people to be able to consume that content in a short form fashion, unless you're on YouTube.
So when you have obviously high profile clients, is there a specific peak time that you ideally that you like to post, and how consistently and how many times or how often do you suggest people post?
Yep.
On a daily basis.
So the main thing to keep in mind is it's kind of like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around. The main thing to do is post when people are awake. I often see people posting at 3 a.m. and midnight, etc. And then they're on the West Coast, and now it's 3 hours later on the East Coast. If people are awake, they cannot engage with your content. and they are unlikely to see it the next day, because if your post doesn't do well, Instagram or the other platforms are not going to show it to them. And so then it's like a double whammy against you. So the main trick is post when people are awake first. Second, when you start to get granular, 8 and 9 in the morning is always going to be the best, because that's when people are first getting up, going to work, first getting to school, or they're at work, and the first thing they do is check their phone. And so a lot of the things I talk about are just real life common sense. The same way you read a caption, the same way human behavior is. If my eye can't see it, or I'm on my way to work, that's the times that I'm looking at content. The next part is at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. is when people are leaving work, leaving school, just getting home. During that time, it can also now breathe. Breathing means the post is getting some engagement, and it can breathe because the platform is showing it to more people. And so if you post at 5 to 6 p.m. and people are starting to trickle home, again, one of the first things they do is they open up their phones to look at social media. So 8 to 9 in the morning when they first get to school or work, 5 to 6 p.m. when they're first leaving, all of my posts for paid posts, I'm requesting an 8 a.m. post or a 9 a.m. post, depending on what city they're in, or a 5 or 6 p.m. post, depending on what city they're in, Monday through Friday. The weekends are much different because there is no driving to work, there is no getting home from school, etc. So the weekends are mostly just posting anytime between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. It could be 11, 1, 3. There's no formula to the weekends, because sometimes there's football games, sometimes there's award shows, sometimes there's them going to a picnic. There's things happening on the weekends. So you're going to have a very different ebb and flow when it comes to the weekends. But Monday through Friday, keep in mind, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. is ideal, and 5 to 6 p.m. is ideal.
Is when you say PM, are you referring to Eastern Standard Time?
So I'm referring to PST. I'm referring to the West Coast time, except if the majority of your followers are in East Coast, then the time is the same for you. If you have a national audience or international audience, then you're going to want to go a bit earlier, keeping in mind the time difference.
So you look geographically where your followers are and base it off of that.
Correct. If I have an East Coast, if I have someone from New York or Miami doing a post, I'm having them post usually at 10, 11 a.m. because that's going to be 8 to 9 a.m. out here on the West Coast. I'm not going to have someone on the West Coast. I won't let them post at 10 p.m. because that's 1 a.m. You know, if you're in Atlanta, New York, Miami, it's so late. They're sleeping. So I'm very strict about that 8 a.m. post, 9 a.m. post, or 5 to 6 p.m. post on the West Coast.
Do you feel that for entrepreneurs, right? How do you feel about people selling from social media pages? Do you think that social media should just be, not really for a hard sell, or can you sell from a social media page? How do you feel about that?
You absolutely positively can sell from a social media page. If you believe in something that it helps people either make more money, better credit, get a house, lose weight, improve their marriage, better food, etc., it is rude of you not to sell it. If you think what you sell helps people, it is rude of you not to sell it. And people pay for what they believe in. So if someone buys something from you and you're selling them something at $100, or you give it to them for free, I promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, because I've done this my whole life, if they paid $100, they will take it way more seriously than if you give it to them for free. And a lot of people are taken back by that, because like, oh, if you believe in your product and you're going to help people, just give it away for free. People do not take action when they get something for free. If you throw an event, I'll give you an example. When I throw elevator nights, which is similar to your guys' business conference, my event's free. I have to have 2 to 3 times the amount of people RSVP to show up because of the free ticket. Your guys' event, if they paid $200, $500, $1,000, $2,000, whatever, they're going to show up because they paid $500 to $1,000, right? They're always going to show up. For my event that's free, if I don't get 1,000 people RSVP'd, I'm not going to get 300 to 500 people to show up because it's a free ticket. They don't mind. I'll be late. Who cares? It was free. So when I have my mastermind events, my mastermind event's $100,000. Nobody misses it, right? They'll cancel whatever they have to cancel, fly across the country, the planet to be there because they paid a lot of money to be there. If they don't pay anything for it, they're not going to take it as seriously. So do not be scared to sell on social media. However, keep one thing in mind. Do not sell every day. If you're selling every day, people are going to be blocking you. They don't want to watch it. They don't want to feel sold to every single post. And so the idea is give content, make them laugh, make it interesting, teach them something, etc. Boom, ask for the sale. Make content, make them laugh, make them interesting, make them part of your life, build some emotional attachment, top of mind awareness. Boom, go for the sale. If you do that, I promise you, your engagement will go through the roof, and they'll help you sell rather than if you're trying to sell every day, people are going to stop watching.
If you don't pay, you're not paying attention. And that's really true a lot of times. And yeah, we do a lot of free events as well. So we know the ratio. Sometimes it's even worse than that. Sometimes you got to do like a 5-to-1 or 4-to-1 ratio, depending on the event, depending on the market, depending on the day. And, you know, it's one of these unfortunate situations, but it's a reality. And you have a free event and you have to get 5,000 people to RSVP for 1,000 people to show up.
Right.
And they just don't take it serious, because you could be in Idaho and just RSVP for an event in Miami. And it's like, you know, why not? Like, I'll just do it just cause.
Yeah, we've seen.
So that's it. I say that to say that's important for when you're starting your business. Anybody that's listening, if you have a free anything, if you're doing giveaways, free events, understand that you have to take that into consideration, because you might not take that into consideration. You might just think, okay, I'm looking for 1,000 people. 1,000 people signed up for this free giveaway. 1,000 people signed up for this free event, and I'm good. And then you get disappointed with only 300 or 200 people actually show up. So if you haven't done that before, then that's an important lesson that we had to learn.
Yeah, we learned it in real time.
Yeah.
So social media obviously plays a major part, but people in small businesses, they have social media pages, but they also have landing pages and websites. Can you talk about the importance of having, or give us some tips on having a landing page or a one-page website where it's going to get the most effective traction for our business?
Yep. So you only have 3 to 7 seconds when people land onto your funnel page or to your landing page for them to make a decision if they're going to stay. And so the very top of your page is the most important part. The very top screen is the most important part, to be very visual and have 4 to 9 words that explain what they're looking at. Then they will make a decision if they're going to keep scrolling. There's actual ways you can see how far they looked, how long they spent time within your website. They can show you, it's called a heat map. They can show you the heat map of where they went, how long they stayed, etc. For the most part, all of the decision happens in that very top of it. And in that top page, you should also have your buy now or your RSVP or your email sign up should be in the bottom of that top. If you look visually, let's say on your phone or a laptop, the bottom of that top of the screen, that bottom frame should have your buy now or claim this or sign up or give your email there. The call to action should be there on the top screen, because you don't know if they're going to scroll down, but if they see it, they can take an action if they want to. Now, next thing, do not have a website with 19 different pages. I promise you, they're not going down that rabbit hole with you. That's not what they're there for. When you're trying to sell a product, unless you're trying to build some long-term brand, and even then, people do not want to go down 19 different pages. You want to make it as easy as possible, dummy-proof it, so that when they get to your page, if you're selling fashion or protein or CBD or real estate or credit, whatever you're doing, top of the page, explain what you're doing. The middle part, they should definitely be able to take an action. You're telling your story. By the time they get to the lower third, like 2 or 3 pages down on your one main page, you have to be, they should know, they should be able to explain your business to other people. They should be able to brag about you.
Dan, as we can go on all day about this, but you know that we respect your time, and we have a couple other people to bring on. But before we let you go, wanted to thank you for actually adding your course to the EYO University platform.
Yes,
so that's part of the remodeling that we're doing. We've added, I believe, 19 different courses, and Dan's course is one of the courses that have been added to the platform. So if you're on the EYO University platform, then you have access to the course. So
we should put some gems in the chat from our earners right now.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate that for sure. Thank you. Any last words you want to leave the people with?
Just get started. So many people are scared and nervous about getting started. If you just start, make your website, make your social media, get your name, get your bank account, just getting all the things getting set up, you'll feel like a business. And it's kind of like if I throw you in the pool, you start swimming, you're going to feel way more comfortable once you start swimming.
Appreciate it.
Let's start.
Dan, it was great connecting with you. I've heard a lot about you. This is the first time I've actually been able to connect. Hopefully we can connect again. Thank you for coming. And once again, thank you for adding your course to the platform. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy holidays to you and the family.
You got it. Anytime, guys. Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right. I told you we're going to have an action-packed program today, the night before Thanksgiving. Who does this? Who does this on Thanksgiving Eve after traveling 12 and a half hours from Abu Dhabi to New York and running around New York City as soon as they get back? Like, it's pretty crazy.
Somebody's got to do
Well, somebody definitely has to do it.
it.
That is a fact. I believe Dan is frozen, it looks
They
like.
called him in the Matrix. Let's see if we can.
Yes.
Oh, we're joined by another gentleman.
Herman, what's going on?
What's up, fellas? How y'all feeling tonight?
Everything's good, man.
Good, man. Okay. Yes, Dan has exited the chat. Herman, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm feeling good, fellas, man. Thank you for having me tonight. I truly appreciate it.
We
Well,
appreciate you
good, man.
taking time out. I know there was plenty of preparation for tomorrow. I'm sure you're part of it, but you took time out
Absolutely.
to bless the people with loads of information. So we
Yeah.
greatly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
The Haitian CEO.
Yes. Live in the
Shapase.
flesh. Nabule.
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 Yes. Yes, very important.
Yes, bald head and beards.
You dig. You dig.
So Herman is a master when it comes to credit, business credit. And this is something that's extremely important. Once again, I feel like we can never have this conversation enough. I put a post up today and it just went crazy, and it just shows you how hungry people are for the information, and it's extremely important. So we're going to do a deep dive into the world of credit. But before we start, wanted to just talk about the EYO University situation again. So, meeting with Robert Smith, when we met with him a while back, and he was telling us, right? You don't know who Robert Smith is? He's the richest Black person in America. So he was saying how he got his start in finances was through mergers and acquisition.
M&A.
And he was telling us the whole play behind the mergers and acquisition, and that that's the real game that they play on the highest level of finance. And that's really what he was doing as an investment banker, was brokering those deals for mergers and acquisitions. So you got to listen to when people speak, and you have to be able to apply the information in real time and process it very quickly. So earn your leisure. We've obviously built a tremendous media platform, and there's other people in the space that we respect. And Recession Proof is a educational platform that has become an extremely impressive platform. They've done a lot of great events. They've built an extremely strong community. They've done live events for their members, only for their members. And we've seen it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually was a major inspiration for InvestFest.
Yeah.
So, seeing and just being really impressed with the infrastructure and what they've been able to accomplish. Not an acquisition, but a merger of EYO University and Recession Proof. So it's Earn Your Leisure University, powered by Recession Proof.
The biggest just got bigger.
Yeah, basically. So I feel like that's an important step forward for the culture.
Absolutely.
So you got to be able to work together. You got to be able to put egos aside. You have to be able to sit at the same table and understand that you have more power in collaboration as opposed to competition.
Yeah.
And this is something that I don't think a lot of people really expected, but I think it's going to be something that's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, just from a standpoint of inspiring each other, pushing each other, and wanting to see the best for each other. I think we've done that over the past 2 years. Like you said, when we went to the Recession Proof conference in Miami and looked at what was put together, we knew that, this is something that we can do at a large scale. So to be merging with such a prestigious and illustrious community like RPX, it is something that is the community, it's going to serve them wholeheartedly. And I'm excited for it, man. The way that they've structured, their community and all the things that they have, it was like, this is something that can add value to our community. And likewise, there's going to be pieces that, our earners are going to be adding over there. So it's a game changer for the financial literacy community overall. So I'm excited. So shout out to everybody from RPX. Shout out to our earners. Yeah, the biggest just got bigger.
More value. And like I said, it's now you're gonna have EYO University is gonna have the best parts of Recession Proof, and Recession Proof is gonna have the best parts of EYO University. So, they have those chapters in place. This is where the chapters come from. This is where the courses come from, as far as like Dan's course and a bunch of other courses that's actually going to be in. So now you don't have to go and buy courses from all of these other different outlets where in one community you have all the courses in under one roof. That's revolutionary within itself. And that's something that is like, you got to kind of bring all of the it's like mob boss, like you bring all of the families together, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's a revolutionary thing to have all of the courses under one umbrella. I don't think that's ever really been done before. So they saying the volume is low, Troy.
Turn yours up a little bit.
Which one is it? This one?
Get a second. I don't think you can go any louder. Maybe.
So yeah. So text learn, the word learn. So 401-238-7479. And we'll be giving you updates on the relaunch of EYO University, launching on Friday, right before Madison Square Garden.
Good timing.
There's always something. There's always something. The never finished strategy. It's never finished. It's always under construction.
It's called more.
A lot more. So, all right. So let's get into this. Business conversation, extremely important. The differences between business credit and corporate credit. Corporate credit. I haven't really talked about that too much. What's the difference between business credit and corporate credit?
So the main difference between business credit and corporate credit is that business credit, which a lot of people talk about, kind of familiar with, is that it's connected to your social security number. It's connected to you having good credit. So you're basically co-signing for your business. So what we like to teach our mentees, our friends, our clients, or people who are listening, our earners, is also at the same time try to build up your business so that it can get corporate credit. Corporate credit is not connected to your social whatsoever. It's just utilizing your EIN. So you got like Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs, rest in peace, Steve Jobs. When they were building up their companies, they were also building up their EIN, so they didn't have to personally guarantee anything for their business. So that's super important to make sure that you're not just building up your business credit, which is a great starting capital that you need. You get that quick 25, 30, 50,000 for your business, but at the same time, also building up your corporate credit so you can build up your business like in a year or two, right? So you're not personally guaranteeing anything. You're getting money and you're not giving the banks your social security number to get business credit cards and loans, et cetera, like that.
Okay. Everybody hit the like button. This is extremely important. To almost 2,000 people on YouTube.
2,000?
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, shout out to all the people.
Hit the like button and share, please.
Yeah, one of the things we've done is we set up multiple LLCs. So I want you to dive into that, setting up multiple LLCs so that you can get six-figure funding.
Oh yeah. So if you understand that hack, if I know one LLC can get me 10, 15, 25,000, right? Then why wouldn't I do that with multiple LLCs, right? So I love coming up with LLCs, even though whether I'm not going to use them or not. Like I come up with the idea, Success Has Receipts. It's one of my brands, right? Or Audit Your Circle, another one of my brands, right? But I also turned it into an LLC, right? So I know one LLC, I can get $25,000, $30,000, $40,000. Then with the other LLC, I know I can duplicate that exact same process. So there's a lot of people sitting with 3, 4, or 5 LLCs. They haven't done anything with them. There's a Herm. How am I going to get funding for it? My business didn't make any money. That's not important right now. If you got the good credit, you can personally guarantee all those LLCs and get funded from them. And then you'll look up and you got 6 figures in funding to do startup capital for whatever type of business you're trying to do.
So the key is to have good personal credit so you can be a guarantor for those LLCs?
That's the key when you are building business credit. But again, like we said a couple of minutes ago, at the same time, you want to build a corporate credit for those businesses also. But I know a lot of us, we just want to get to it. So you got the good credit, you got over 680 and above, go get to it. Go get that money. Go get that bag first.
What's the 10 commandments when it comes to business credit?
The 10 commandments to getting your business funded. Number one, I want y'all to write this down, right? Because this is how you maximize to ensure how much funding you can get for your business, right? So if you know Truist Bank or Key Bank, you know that they're going to give you $25,000 no doc. You know that, right? Whenever you are missing certain things from this 10 commandments, it knocks it down a couple of thousand. So number one, you want to make sure you have a proper business name. The name of my company is Bella Sloan Enterprises, right? It's a general name. There's a lot of high risk industries out there, right? So real estate, trucking. So if that's in your business name, it's going to limit how much funding you're going to get, or they probably deny you the money. So like Bella Sloan Enterprise will get 25,000, but Bella Sloan real estate company, that same profile is probably going to get 10,000. So having the proper business name is important. Number two, you want to make sure you have a great business address, right? Brick and mortar, of course, but if not, get yourself a virtual address, because if you're going to the bank trying to maximize how much money you get, you want to make sure you look like a real business. Try to not look like a mom and pop where you're giving them your home address as your business address. You want to walk into Chase. You want to walk into Wells Fargo like a real outstanding business. That's commandment number two. Commandment number three, you want to have a legitimate email address, info@bellastoneenterprises.com, not bellastoneenterprises@gmail. Those little things these banks are looking at. Commandment number four, want to make sure you have a real business website. So I told a couple of my mentees this when everybody was getting the SBA EIDL money, right? If they didn't have a proper email, it literally got kicked to a real underwriter, right? So the real underwriter was looking to see if he was a legitimate business, because you're giving an @Gmail and you trying to get 150,000. It didn't make sense. So commandment number four, having a good business email. Commandment number five, you want to make sure you have a business website, a real presence online, so that the banks know you're legit. Like, I'm not giving you $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 and you're not going anywhere. And then once you have all this demographic information, next commandment, that's what you put on your LLC. Because before, when I started talking about business funding, everybody ran and got an LLC, but they put in their cell phone number, their home address on it. Now, you want to set up your business demographics first, then you put that on a business application, your LLC, excuse me. Then you get your EIN. And then once your business is structured, I want you to open up a business checking account and a business savings account. Now, I want to stay on this real quick. Commandment number 7. I want to stay on this real quick, because how you open up your business checking account and saving account is important. The more products that you have with a bank, the better the relationship with the bank, the more likely they are to give you funding, right? So if I'm walking into a bank and I'm like, hey, can I get a $25,000 credit card? I got great credit. That's wonderful, right? But isn't it better if I go to the bank, I get my LLC, my EIN documentation, I give them my operating agreement. I'm like, hey, can I open up a checking account? Can I open up a savings account with you? So now I just open up 2 products with them. I put $50 in each account, right? Nothing crazy. And then I ask them for funding. So building relationships with bank is crucial, one of those unknown steps to help you get more funding from that same bank. Commandment number 9, having different relationships with different tiers of banks. I always tell everyone to please start first with getting funding and relationships with credit unions in your area first. So I tell them, listen, go to Google Maps, type in the word credit union and put in your zip code. You'll see 10, 15 credit unions in your zip code alone that you can go and start a business relationship with, right? And then find out, give them a call. Hey, TrueMark, where do you pull from? We pull from Equifax. Another bank, where do you pull from? We pull from TransUnion. Another one, where you pull from? We pull from Experian. So now you're getting 3 relationships. You know they're pulling from different credit bureaus. So when you go to the second bank, they didn't know you just got $25,000 from the first bank. So just like that, if each of them give you $10,000 on a bad Saturday, you just raise yourself $30,000, right? From 3 different banks. So credit unions love to give bigger bags out. So I always tell people, start with credit unions first, then work your way up to the different tiers, where you work your way up to like Citizens, where they're like more regional, or Truist, they're more regional, they're not nationwide. And then you hit up the big boys. Then you go to Wells Fargo, then you go to Chase, but start in your community first. And then lastly, of course, commandment number 10, ask them for that money, ask them for that funding, and you should be in good position to maximize what you can get from each bank.
It's 10 business commandments. What? You got to say that at the end. So when we're applying to the banks, we're sending out applications. You got this thing called the Power of 4. Can you break that down?
The power of the four. All right. So there's a little bank information that they don't want you to know, right? I love when people say that. So I'm going to say it too, but they don't want you to know. So say the power of four is, say for instance, you have 2 credit cards, right? They're $10,000 each limit. That's the credit availability that you got. But you make $30,000 a year, right? So the bank is going to look at that application. They were like, this person is actually high risk. Why? Because tomorrow he could max out the cards to $20,000, right? But he only makes $30,000 a year, right? So the bank actually looks at you as somebody that's actually risky. So sometimes I tell my earners, my mentees, I tell them, hey, if you got somebody on your team, a co-signer, somebody else who doesn't look as high risk. So somebody who's less high risk is the power of four. So $20,000 multiplied by 4 is $80,000. So the bank is looking for somebody who makes $80,000 a year, right? Who has $20,000 in available credit card. That person is low risk to the bank. So that's why I say the power of four is what the banks look at when assessing somebody's credit profile to see how much funding they can give them on the business side.
So talk about credit union funding.
Credit union funding, kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. It's the best place to start. It's the best place to go when you are trying to get funding. For everybody that's on a call, I know we all go into the name brands first. We're going to go to Chase. We're going to go to Wells Fargo, and they're great institutions. But I want everybody to start in their community first, because the credit unions are ready to invest in the people that are in their community first, right? I even have a strategy where a lot of my mentees, where they're like, listen, well, there's a great bank in Virginia, right? Virginia got a great bank, but my LLC is not in Virginia, it's in Pennsylvania. We'll get a foreign entity, right? So you can do business in the state of Virginia, and then you hit up that credit union because you know they give away $30,000 real quick if you got a 690 credit score. So getting a foreign entity is how you literally multiply or mimic your LLC in all 50 states, so you can get the capital in different places. So I travel a lot. I'm in Atlanta, I'm in Miami, I'm in Cali. So I make sure I got foreign entities in those different states, because if I happen to be out there and my man's give me a good play, like, yo, this credit union, bro, they give him $50,000 line of credit, you got a 700 credit score, then I want to make sure I'm in position to go there, because I know credit unions are going to give me a bigger bag than regional or national banks.
So what are the 3 things as entrepreneurs that we can do to get the most funding? All right, a lot of times when we try to start a business, funding is obviously always the issue. What are the 3 things that we can do to make sure we get the most?
To make sure you get the most funding, to put yourself in position to get the bigger bag, number 1, make sure your inquiries are low on your credit report. So if I told you TrueMark is pulling from TransUnion, make sure you have under 3 inquiries from that credit bureau, or make sure you don't have any recent inquiries in the last 6 months. So keep your inquiries low. That's going to maximize your funding. Number 2, I know it sounds sexy that, yo, I'm the owner of Bella Sloan Enterprises. It sounds great, right? Owners don't make money. You know who make money, who get consistent bread? W-2 employees. So when I open up a bank account, I tell them I am the president, I'm the CEO, I'm the CIO, right? Because they know I'm getting paid every week. So they know I'm gonna pay this check every week. They know I got a certain salary, so I'm gonna make sure I get money every week. And number 3, follow the 10 commandments. Rewind the tape. It's gonna be on YouTube. Follow the 10 commandments. Position your business in proper place to maximize your funding. Those are 3 tips I got for you guys to make sure you get the maximum funding when you walk into these banks.
So let's answer some questions if we can.
Absolutely.
This is another part of the EYO
we got hands raised already.
platform, is that it's an interactive experience. So we get to actually not just hear us talk, but answer questions in real time. And that's beneficial because a lot of people in the audience probably have the same questions. So yeah.
Let's do this, man. George, we are coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. George, what's up? What's going on?
Five seconds.
Oh, man, you know how this works. So if you don't know how this works, there are no fridge breaks. When we come to you, you better be ready to
Let's go
roll.
to the new people.
Oh, wow.
There's a bunch of people coming on. All right, let's go to
The new people at the bottom.
let's go to Aries. Aries, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's the deal? Oh, they not. Oh, wait, there you go. George, you there? He's not there.
His mic is on.
Yeah, he didn't unmute yet.
Aries,
Oh,
you've been unmuted.
hello.
There you go.
Can you hear
How
me?
you doing? We can hear you. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Yourself. I wanted to ask Herman. You said that the Yahoo and the Gmail is not a good email for business funding.
Absolutely not. So I want everyone to start thinking like how the banks do, right? So Bella Sloan Enterprises is an entity that doesn't speak, right? I speak for Bella Sloan Enterprises, right? So I got to make sure this looks legitimate. Because when you go into Chase, you're literally speaking to somebody. If it's Miss Phillips has an email address. Miss Phillips' email address is phillips@chase.com. So I want to make sure my business and your business looks totally legitimate, and having at domain of your business looks sexier than yada, yada, yada at Gmail. So Bellas, and you tell me what looks better, Bellastone Enterprises at Gmail or info@BellastoneEnterprises.com. So it's all about setting yourself up to look as sexy to these banks so you can maximize your funding. Now, I'm not saying it's a deal breaker. I'm not saying no one's gotten funded with a Gmail account, but I'm trying to maximize how much you can get funding.
So I have everything already in place, but the Gmail is what it is. My business name at, but it does says, I think it's a Yahoo or something, because Gmail was giving me a little bit of trouble.
Right. So what I recommend you do is actually, I'm going to send you back to Google. So Google has an enterprise platform, because they got into the enterprise platform space, where you can go to G Suite, GSUITE, G Suite.
Oh yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, so where you can get a real business email address, and it's only $6 a month. It's super cheap. You can start it tonight, and you have your real email address all ready to go.
But when I filed for my LLC, I put the other email on.
Then listen, let me explain this to you, right? Your LLC is considered a person. It's an entity, right? Just like you're considered a person. Guess what you can change? I can change my name if I want to. I can change my address, I can change my phone number, and I can change my email too. All you have to do is contact the Secretary of State and update whatever information you need to update. Google is not called Google anymore. They're called Alphabet. They changed their name. But all they had to do is let the Secretary of State know, hey, we're not called Google anymore. We're called Alphabet. We moved to this address. We have this new email address. Here's our new information. And then your LLC will be updated with that information with the Secretary of State. So you're straight. It's not complex.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate your help.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Aries. Have a good one. Happy holidays to you and the fam. Let's see.
Same
Let's
to
go
you.
to Tanya. We coming to you. Tanya Simpson. What's going on? Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. How you doing?
Tanea, how you doing? I'm good.
Tanea, I'm
Thank you
sorry.
for having me. No problem. This is definitely some diamond information. So I kind of want to ask the same question or similar question. My website is a .us. Does that have a bad impact on my business because it's .us and not a .com?
No. That's totally legitimate. As long as it's your business domain name, .us, .net, .com, .org. As long as it's professional, in that case, you're going to be in good shape.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Ms. Simpson.
Thank you, Tanya. Have a happy holidays for you and the fam. Let's go down here. Kent Hannon. Kent, we coming to you. Kent, unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Mr. Hammond, how you feeling tonight?
Good, bro. I just wanted to know, I've been hearing about the shelf corporations. I don't know if they really work or not, because, you know, you got to have 2 years to get funded, right? So I wanted to know, do we really need to have do the shelf corporation work for that matter? If that makes sense.
So here's why shelf corporations even exist. Shelf corporations exist because 90% of banks, before you are offered lines of credit, right? Your business has to be 2 years or older. If it's not 2 years or older, you're most likely going to be eligible for a business credit card, which is a great start. So shelf corps were existed because it's like, hey, if I want to jump to the line and I want to get lines of credit in addition to credit cards, let me purchase a shelf corp. There's nothing wrong with a shelf corp. We recommend you get them if you have good credit, because then you could combine it with your good personal credit, and then you can get credit cards and lines of credit. I want to be careful with people getting scammed out there when people say, oh, you get this 5-year-old shelf corp, it guarantees you $100,000, $125,000, $250,000. No, that's not the case. If the shelf corp isn't built up, if it doesn't have trade lines on it already, That's definitely not the case. So you definitely want to be careful with that. So like Bellastone LLC, right? My business, right? It's like the LLC is like 7 years old. I can sell it to you, right, Mr. Hammond? And because you got a 700 plus credit score, you can go out and you can get $50,000 to $100,000 because you got good credit combined with the Shelf Corp. But just be careful when people are saying, hey, buy the Shelf Corp for $10,000 and you'll guaranteed to get $250,000. That's definitely not the case, but you definitely want to be careful with that. But the purpose of it is to get higher lines of credit because the company is older.
Appreciate it, bro.
No problem. Great question. Thank you for that.
Appreciate you, Kent. All right, let's do one more. Let's go to, let's see. Tyrone, we coming to you. Tyrone, you've been unmuted. Unmute yourself. What's going on, brother?
Can y'all hear me now, fellas? What's going
Yeah, we
on,
can hear you, Ty. Talk to us.
All right,
Everything's
real quick,
good,
I got
man.
2 questions. Thank y'all for first. Thank y'all always. Absolutely. So the questions is this, Herm. One of my clients today, we were doing some things and we were talking about business funding, right? And we were looking at her, we were trying to find her paydex score and they couldn't pull up her Experian business, Equifax business. And she was like, but I have a business credit card. And I was like, oh, but you didn't do those trade lines I told you, she was like, no, I never did those. So do you have to do the vendor tier 1, 2, 3 before you do the trade line for business funding or not? That's the first question. And the second question is real quick afterwards, but that's the first one.
So let's attack that first. So unpopular belief, right? 95% of business credit cards don't report anywhere, right? On the personal side, you could buy a stick of gum. It's going to be on your credit report in 30 days. American Express, Chase, Wells Fargo, they're not reporting anywhere, right? So they're not building up your business's credit, your corporate credit whatsoever. A couple of credit cards that do, Divvy, DIVVY, Capital on Tap, those are great corporate credit cards. They don't care what your credit score is, right? Anybody could get them. If you have a business checking account, 3 months old, you got a couple of dollars going in there, they'll see what they can do to get you some funding. But they actually report to your business credit profile that helps build up your score. Now, Ty, you did give her some great advice to start building her corporate credit, right? By getting some tier 1 vendors on her business credit profile, and that's great. Once you built it up to tier 4, that's when you're able to go and get corporate credit, no personal guarantee, no matter what. Now, if you're trying to get funded and she's a startup company, the tier 1s are not going to be enough for her to just get corporate credit in general. So you can suggest to her Divvy, corporate credit card, Capital on Tap, but in the meantime, she'll definitely need to get her credit up so she can PG it. Personally.
Okay. Oh yeah, and we already worked on that and did that. I'm tapped in. I've been tapped in with y'all, so we on that. So thank you so much. And the second quick question is this: in terms of foreign entities and tax havens, if I want to become or use my business as a foreign entity in a state that's a tax haven, maybe Delaware or somewhere like that, how does that work? Do I just file and then I can just start assuming business or doing business there and then I'm good and I'm saving, or how does that work, if you don't mind?
So I am not a tax professional, so I got to be careful how I answer these questions. Definitely tap into your tax professional who can answer that better for you. When I speak of foreign entities, I use it because I'm about to do business in a state. Like I'm in Atlanta all the time, right? So I got a foreign entity down there, and I know they got great lenders down there that I like to do business with. And this credit unions first, they won't do business with me because I'm based in PA. So I got the foreign entity in the state of Georgia. So I'm allowed to open up business checking accounts there and get the funding. When it comes to the tax questions or tax side of it, when it comes to Delaware, Wyoming, I'm almost certain that there are benefits for running your business there, but definitely tap in with your tax professional who can give you the best advice on that.
Absolutely. Thanks again, boss. I appreciate
you, Ty.
I appreciate you, Tyrone.
Yes, sir, Ski. How many more we want to do before we bring MG on?
The hands keep going up. Let's take like maybe 1 or 2 more. Let's
All
go
right,
to Sean. Sean Bartley, we coming to you, man. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on, Sean? Don't do it. No fridge break, Sean. No fridge break. We appreciate your attendance, but there are no fridge breaks. So we're going to go to Anthony. Anthony Robinson, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted.
What up, fellas? What up, Herm?
Mr. Robinson, how you feeling tonight?
Feeling good, feeling good.
Good.
So what about if you're blocked from getting bank accounts on check systems and early warning?
Ooh,
How can I go about getting around it?
So it's hard to get around that. You have to attack it. So you're going to have to first, it's almost like credit repair, right? It's basically our credit repair. So you're going to have to attack check systems. You're going to have to write a letter to them. You're going to have to actually write letters to LexisNexis so you can get those check systems from keeping you from opening up bank accounts. So usually it's because you had a bounce check in the past. So you have to remedy that situation, whether, hey, you owe them $300, $200, you go to Chase, here, Chase, here's your $500. Can you please remove me from check system? If they verify that information, they usually send you a letter. You send that over to LexisNexis. You send that over to the people that are blocking you from check systems, and that's your remedy to the situation. I don't want to give you no quick hacks to do it. I'm going to show you the right way to do it, because if there's a hack that somebody's giving you about that, then it might work at one bank, but not all. So you want to make sure you tap into LexisNexis first to get the check systems removed. Write them the letters. You can even get them on the phone, and then put yourself in position so you can open up bank accounts right now.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro.
Whole lot of game. Whole lot of game.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
Appreciate you, Anthony.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
You want to do one more?
I got one more.
Let's do it.
All
Leslie,
right.
we coming to you. Let's do this. Leslie, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. How you doing, Leslie?
Come on, Leslie. Don't break our hearts. You there?
Her mic is on. She ready to go.
I don't think so.
Oh, damn, Leslie.
Oh, Leslie.
It don't mean we don't love you, though. It really doesn't. It really doesn't mean we don't love you. We love you even more for actually raising your hand and having the courage to answer this question. But
100%.
we'll get you on the next one. Let's do Sue Ellen. See if Sue Ellen can come through for us. Sue Ellen Roberts, what's going on? Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted.
Yes, how's everybody doing?
Let's get it, Mr. Roberts. How you feeling?
Doing well. Very familiar with both platforms. I'm definitely following both of you guys, man. Love the platform, love everything.
I appreciate it.
Just really quick, I just had a question about I know you talked a lot about funding and positioning your business. I know somebody taught a class about, is the next level to get into trusts and things like that after you've established everything?
So you know, with us, as we gain our people, as we gain information, then we add it to the repertoire. Like I didn't know about trust when I first started my LLC. I didn't know about trust when I was building business credit. I didn't know about trust when I was building corporate credit. But as you get the information, yes, you can put it into your folder. So I got a trust later in life. Under my trust is my holding company. I set up my holding company, and then my holding company has a bunch of all my different LLCs, Bellastone Enterprises, Olivia Monroe Enterprises, and all the different businesses that I do. So it's not too late to go back and structure it correctly to protect yourself, to protect your assets, and to protect your future generation from what you have built here right now. Because I tell people all the time that I'm planting seeds for fruit I'll never see. So I want to make sure that my children and my grandchildren have these assets that have been protected because I set up a trust, a holding company, and the different businesses that are under them.
Perfect. Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, bro.
I appreciate you.
Herman, it's been a pleasure.
I appreciate you, gentlemen.
Thank you. And I know that you'll be, a big part of EYO University as well moving forward.
Yes, definitely.
Constant contributor. A great resource to the community. So thank you in advance.
I look forward to being of service, and I look forward to seeing you guys in New York at the Hulu Center. I'm looking forward to that this weekend. It's gonna be dope.
Oh yeah. If you don't have your tickets to Madison Square Garden, you playing yourself, man. Sunday. It's gonna be a vibe, man. Jada Kiss, Floyd Money Mayweather, Don Peebles, Ian Dunlap, myself, Troy. It's gonna be so many people there, man. It's gonna be an amazing experience. and it's extremely dope to do it.
A beautiful
New
night in
York.
Manhattan. I look forward to it.
Oh, it's gonna be a motion picture event, brother.
A time will be had.
Yeah. But thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
As
All right,
always,
man.
Herman, love is love, bro. Appreciate
Love is love. Y'all guys have a blessed holiday season. I'll see y'all this weekend. Peace.
Likewise.
Hit the like button. 2,100 people on the YouTube. We are at the final stretch of this situation. We're gonna talk about real estate. Gave you guys a lot of information. Went from, and Herman also gave us his business credit course. He provided that in Earn Your Leisure University as well. EYO University, Herman's business credit course will be in the curriculum. So we want to thank Herman for that. That's what I'm saying. Like all of these different courses are going to be under one umbrella. So if you're in EYOU, you get access to Dan's course, you get access to Herman's course, and you get access to MG, the mortgage
This
guys
gentleman here.
courses, Homebuyers Blueprint, Volume
Multiple.
1 and Volume 2. You get all of that as part of one package. Extremely impressive situation. Matt, how are you? How are you, brother?
My brothers, welcome back to America.
Welcome back.
Good to be home.
It's good to
Welcome
be
back,
home.
welcome back, welcome back.
Have you seen that the past 24 hours for us, MG?
I've been paying attention, and I have to say, I don't know how you mother effers do it. You guys are savages. Like, first of all, hold on. We got to give y'all some flowers, first of all, because there's no reason in God's green earth why you should be doing open enrollment right now, especially after a 15-hour flight, and then you had to go to chill with Math Hoff and the guys over there, and then you still had meetings and Zoom calls, the merger,
Oh, missed
Market
you missed-
Mondays.
You missed something. It's called another big interview.
Another big interview. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I'll text you a picture later.
Please text me the pitch. See, I've been so busy. Shout out to Tukes. We've been in the studio. We've been in the lab just cooking up because work ethic don't stop over here at EYO University. Just because the everybody has to work. Everybody has to hold their position. There's no weak links in our crew. So we've all been working, but I'm super impressed with you guys as always. I'm proud of both of you, man. And I can't wait to see you guys Friday when you guys get honored. It's well deserved. So you don't even talk about how y'all getting your flowers, and your hometown, the town, Greenberg, is honoring you guys. So I'm blowing this up. I don't care, right? You guys are getting honored, and you deserve your flowers because I've been around for this from day one, and just to see the growth from 2-3 iPhones on crooked stands and everything to where it's blown up to right now, man. I'm proud of you, brothers, man. So you guys deserve your flowers, and everybody needs to throw some gems in the comments for my brothers because they out here working hard. This is not easy. There's sacrifices when it comes to this level of success, and they're putting on for us, man. So shout out to y'all, man, for real.
Love my brother.
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
Real talk, man. That's real talk, man. That's from the heart, man. Y'all dudes are savages, man. I love it. Let's go, man. Let's go. But y'all different, man. And Rashad is the RZA. He's been a RZA from day one. This dude is a nut. Let's go, yo. EYO University times RPX. The biggest just got bigger. I can't contain myself. I've been waiting to talk about this for 6 months.
Let's go.
Let's go, man.
Let's grow.
Let's grow. Let's go. Shout out to Marcus. Shout out to her 500. Shout out to the whole RPX family. Let's go, man. Shout out to the earners. Where my earners at, man? Throw that graduation hat in the comments, man. Let's go, man. I'm hyped right now. Y'all shouldn't have brought me on. I'm too hyped. I can't contain myself right now.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to get into it. Before we start, text the word LEARN to 401-238-7479 or click the link in the description of this video to enter your information for updates on the release of the relaunch of EYO University, which will include the regional chapters, the 19 courses, the live interactive classes. Is a whole vibe. It's a whole situation. But Matt, We're going to end it with real estate. We talked about business branding, social media branding. We talked about business credit, and we're going to end this with real estate, something that's extremely important and been a hot topic. All right, so let's start here. What is the forecast? What is your forecast for 2023 when it comes to real estate, when it comes to interest rates, when it comes to home affordability, all of this stuff?
All right, good question, Rashad. I would say I'm forecasting from appreciation standpoint. I think home values, and I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again, home values will continue to appreciate in 2023. It will get back to modest appreciation, normal appreciation, I should say. I think depending on where you are in the country, we should see home appreciation anywhere from 2 to 7% on average nationwide, just depending on where you are. Now, I know a lot of people see a lot of fear mongering type of headlines out there when you see home prices have declined or home sales have declined in the past 9 months. I know you guys see price reductions, and you have to really read between the lines when you're looking at all of that, right? So right now, year over year, November of 2021 compared to November of this year, home prices have still appreciated 7.5% annually. Now, you're not going to see crazy 20+% nationwide in almost every state like you did in 2021. 2020 and 2021 was just unicorn years. That's not normal, right? Miami right now is not normal. Miami is up 20% year over year still. That's not normal, right? But if you look at appreciation over the past 60 years in America, homes on average have appreciated 4.5% annually. And we're getting back down to that normal rate of return on real estate, which is needed, right? Affordability is going to be questioned still because of inflation, although inflation dropped a couple percentage points. Not a couple of percentage points, but dropped a little from like 8.2 to 7.7 on the last CPI report. If that continues to go down, that's great news for interest rates, because interest rates tend to follow like the inflation numbers and also the Fed funds. If the Feds kind of slow down on their raises, then you'll see interest rates start trickling back down. Now, when that CPI data was released about 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, interest rates dropped from about 7.25% to 6.5%. Right now, next month when this report comes out again, if we start still seeing those inflation numbers go down, you're going to start seeing mortgage rates kind of slowly but surely follow it. So it's really on this inflation report that's really going to determine where interest rates are going to go. I told you a couple months ago that I did foresee rates would be around 7% by the end of the year. The end of the year is here. Where are we? A little bit under 7% right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's not a terrible rate. It's higher than it was over the past 2 years, but historically, it's not a terrible rate. When I bought my first property years ago, my rate was 7.25%, right? So it's not a bad interest rate per se, it's just higher. So where I see the market going, I still continue to see it appreciating just at normal levels. I see that there's going to be less inventory or new homes hitting the market, because if these rates stay higher, then why would home sellers want to sell their home? Like I read something the other day, and it said that 85% of mortgages in America have an interest rate below 4% right now. There's over 30 trillion in equity still in homes, although that's down, right, a little bit, but it's still over 30 trillion. So homeowners are sitting on a lot of leverage with low interest rates and a lot of equity. So there's really no reason for a seller, if they do not have to sell, why would they sell to put themselves in a position to be at a higher rate at a higher price? And if you go to rent, then you're still paying high rental prices, because although rent prices have dropped a little bit, it's still high. It's still over $2,000 on average. So you're in a position right now. I think home buyers and investors, well, home buyers I'll speak to, are in a position is you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. right? It's either you're going to rent or you're going to buy. Either or, you're going to pay a higher price. And that's why you need to focus on really more streams of income and being able to create a better lifestyle for yourself, because you can't control these markets. You can't control inflation, but you can control what you do on your daily basis. And that's bringing in more money, because that's the only way you really truly fight inflation, is bringing in more money and investing.
Yeah. So from an investor standpoint, one of the articles I was reading earlier today, they said that the new home purchases from investors are down by 30% as the rates rise. As we start to see, like you said, rates hit maybe 7.25, they've climbed down, I think maybe 6.75 now. Do you see that trend continuing as far as from an investment standpoint when we talk about real estate?
Absolutely. I think you're going to have some investors that sit on the sideline, but that's going to be investors who probably shouldn't have been in the business regardless, right? You got to look at it, right? When money is cheap, everybody can do something because the money is so cheap. And there was a lot of money in the streets too. When you think about PPP loans, when you think about people didn't have to pay rent, when you think about all this stuff that put money out there, people didn't even have to go to work, for crying out loud, and it still was getting paid. So there was a lot of money that was in the streets that enabled people to go out there to invest at a high level. Now you have it where rates are higher, especially if you're buying investment properties. Those rates, if the homeowner rate for primary residence is in the 6-7%, then you're talking about 8 to 11% if you're looking to buy a rental property. So that's going to hurt cash flow and numbers depending on where you're looking to buy. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of investors kind of sit on the sidelines right now, but let's really look at what a lot of the big boys are still doing. Look at JP Chase, for example. They just committed that they're going to buy $1 billion worth of single family rentals. Like, investors are going to invest regardless of whatever the market is. It's just depending on what game are you playing. So there's going to be a lot of people that will sit on the sidelines, but I don't want any of our people to be deterred by the fact that you read these articles and stuff like that. Like, no, go out there and invest, because when you see people like JP Chase, these big institutional investors still out here getting deals done, there's no reason why we shouldn't be out here trying to look for our deals too. But we just got to analyze them properly to make sure the cash on cash returns are there. And also, Troy, before you go on, or Rashad, you have to look at this rate is temporary. So if you get a property that's cash flowing, let's just say you're making a 9% cash on cash return at a 10% interest rate, you have to look at your pro forma and see, what is this going to look like if I'm able to refinance in 2 years and those rates drop down to 6%, 5%? What does my cash on cash return look like at that moment? So it's all on your perspective and how you're really truly analyzing your deals to determine if a deal is going to be a good one or a bad one.
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that we don't look at, right? Like, let's look at the long-term perspective, especially if you're in a 30-year loan. If you get this interest rate now at 10% or 8%, in 5 years, if that goes down to 5%, like, you're actually going to be saving on that refi. Like, that has that long. Same thing when we talk about investing in the market. It's like, look, we're not thinking about 2 years, 3 years. You have a 30-year mortgage. Like, think about the long-term payout on this thing.
100%.
So let me ask you this. Okay, what advice do you have for first-time homebuyers in this economic and environment? Programs, tips?
So my best advice is the same thing I've probably been saying from day one. Don't buy nothing you can't really afford. Don't be house rich and cash poor. The same rules apply, right? The math is still going to math. If you can't afford something, don't buy it. If you're going to buy something, make sure you have reserves, because you never know what can happen in life. So my tip is always going to be, don't try to go into these situations and buying real estate, especially if you're first time home buyer, and not have any money, because nothing is promised. Your job is not promised, right? But as far as tips, it's very simple. If you're buying rental properties, do your best to put yourself in a position where you can have your apartments on programs, Section 8, you have domestic violence programs, you have all types of different programs that are out there where the government will pay the rent for the tenant, where that's going to be guaranteed money. No matter if it's a recession, if it's a bull market, a bear market, the government is always going to pay for these programs. So you have to look at that. You have to be creative right now. with house hacking. I think a first time home buyer, if your goal is to become an investor, and if your goal is to be a landlord, you definitely have to look at house hacking, right? Even if you have to buy a single family or do a single family home, there's ways to house hack that too. Buy property that you can possibly add an ADU, accessory dwelling unit, or turn your basement into a content space. I mean, look, we have a content space right here. Your headquarters is a content space, right? So there's many different ways that you could go out here to bring in money to help supplement your mortgage payment if you are a first time home buyer. So you just got to be creative right now, especially in these high inflationary times. You can't just depend on one source of income, and especially if you're first time home buyer, you got to remember that mortgage payment is due every month. So you have to just be creative on ways to get that mortgage paid by any means necessary.
Yeah, one of the most profound things you said to us over 3 years ago is that equity is monopoly money, and people kind of didn't really understand it. Can you break it down for the new audience that's here with us tonight about what you mean by that?
So equity is monopoly money, right? It's unrealized gains. It's just like when you're looking at your trading accounts. You may be up, but it's unrealized. It's not really real money until you take it out, until you sell your trade. And then it's real money for you, right? It's the same thing like equity. So if your home appreciated 200,000, 300,000, that doesn't mean that money belongs to you. It's there. It gives you value. It's a part of your net worth now, but it's not like you can stick your debit card in the freaking doorbell and say, give me some of my equity today, please. Right? You still have to apply for a loan and get approved for it. Right? So unless you tap into that equity via cash out refinance or home equity line of credit, then that money is dead money. So, and if the market does crash, let's just say, God forbid, the market does crash and you lose 30, 40% of that equity, that 250 now went to probably 150. So what I try to tell people, Troy, is especially if you have money in your primary residence, first of all, my disclaimer, as always, is make sure you have a plan of action. Remember, this is the church's money. So if you're taking money from a cash out refinance or a home equity line of credit from your primary residence, remember, you have an extra bill now. It's another mortgage. So you have to have a plan of action to repay that. So don't take it and go to Dubai and try to go out to the top tallest building like Rashad was, taking videos and having closing deals, right? Because that money is not making you money being in Dubai. Use that money to invest. Use that money to start your business, something that can bring you an ROI immediately, so that way you can pay it back. So unless you use that money, it's just monopoly money. It sounds good to have, hey, I got a 200 in equity, but it's not in your bank account, B.
Yeah, Burj Khalifa.
Yeah,
it looked amazing.
Yeah, a good place to visit, man.
154 floors up.
Top of the world, literally. Yeah,
literally top of the world. High level conversations.
Yeah,
shout out to 19 Keys.
Yeah, shout out to 19 Keys.
Shout out to the bro.
Shout out to 19 Keys. So let's talk about this. Refinancing. Is this a time that people should be refinancing?
Yes and no. No, I would say no and yes. If you have an interest rate in the past 2 years, 2s, 3s, 4s, probably hell no. Right? If you have equity in your home and you want to tap into that, I would say get a line of credit versus refinancing. If you have an investment property, and this is for the investors, if you're in a hard money deal and you're trying to borrow, you have no choice but to refinance. If you're an investor and you have a bunch of equity in your home and you're trying to scale your portfolio, it might make sense to refinance and pull that cash out because you're not paying the bill. Your tenants are. And as long as you're still cash flowing, then it could make sense to you. And let me flip back to the homeowners. The homeowners out there who might want to refinance, if you have a lot of high interest credit cards, maybe student loans, and you're suffocating yourself, don't hold on to that 2-3% rate, knowing that you have $100,000 in credit card debt. And if you got to look at the numbers to see if you do a debt consolidation loan, doesn't make sense for you to refinance to pay off all that debt and have a cheaper payment overall. That would probably be the only way I would probably advise a primary residence or a homeowner to refinance, only if they didn't have means to like pay off all that high debt. But other than that, homeowners right now, I probably wouldn't refinance. I would do more of a home equity line of credit. And investors, depending on your deal and what you got going on, it could be advantageous for you to look into doing a refinance.
Yeah, I want to tie the whole night into it, right? We started with building a brand with Dan Fleyshman, and obviously we're ending it now with real estate. But you've built a brand in real estate, which is pretty difficult, right? When you walk around the country, we see it. People are attracted to what you're doing. You've inspired them. You've changed their lives. Not an easy task. And every time I look at you, I feel like you're doing something new to try to expand the brand. Obviously, now you're sitting in a content studio that you've built. Talk about that in the real estate field, building a brand, because we see people do it. Obviously, shout out to your partner on Rants and Gems, Kiana, who's done an amazing job with it as well. Can you talk about the strategies that you use to build your brand?
Man, that's a great question, Troy. I'm glad you asked that one. The RZA, man, the RZA, 2018. I said, yo, RZA, man, how the hell you got the shade room for financial literacy in your comments, and you got 4,000 comments and you got 9,000 followers? And he said, bro, you got to deepen your relationship with your audience. All the stuff that you talk about to your clients, you got to start bringing it to your social media. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, well, you talking to me. I'm a financial advisor. Why don't you start talking about financial planning? Because it goes hand in hand with home ownership. And that was the first time that I really understood social media, thanks to your bestie, Rashad. And from that and from that moment, now I'm keeping it a buck. You saw how the brand built, right? So it was the power of collaboration. It's something I've been doing in my entire career. So anybody who's a transactional professional, our businesses were not built. We were not taught social media when we came into this game, right? Especially me. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. And the new folks who are coming in, they're not being taught social media. We're taught how to develop relationships, especially from a loan officer perspective, with realtors, financial planners, CPAs, insurance agents, and we build our book of business and we work our book of business, right? My business model wasn't built for social media. But when I started bringing those conversations to my page and tying that in to home ownership, it kind of opened up the eyes. I was probably one of the first people in the mortgage space that was doing this at a small level at that time, and which has continuously graduated into something big. So power collaboration will be the first step that I would tell anybody in my profession that they got to do. Number two, always add value to people. The reason why I'm even probably a partner in EYO University, InvestFest, and amongst other things that we do together, and why I'm probably here today is because I did my best to add value to Rashad's business without even asking him for anything. I did things without asking for nothing, right? It was just, I genuinely wanted to see my people win. He was a financial planner when we met, and I wanted to send him business because I wanted my people to work with a Black man, and he seemed super knowledgeable to me. Right? So add value to people and don't have no expectations, because if you add enough value to people, it will come back to you tenfold. See, the problem in our business, especially from transactional professionals, we always got a freaking handout. We always want something in return. And you don't need to do that. Just add value and your blessings will come to you. So that would be number two thing. And number three, consistency. You have to be consistent if you're going to hit social media. Now, one thing that I even had to learn, this is very difficult to do. This is not easy. It's 9:40 at night. I've been filming all day. I've been working on loans. I've been talking to people all day long, but I still find the time every single day to do content, to put out content, because I understand if I do not let my voice be heard, then the only thing that people will hear is the news and what their fear mongering is. And I have a voice and I'm going to use it to my advantage. So I'm very consistent on what I do, and I invest into my business. Like Tukes is here with me right now. He's a part of the team. We built out a content studio. We invest tens of thousands of dollars in equipment. We travel everywhere to get more content, right? We're very consistent about what we're doing, and we don't take no days off. This is the way. This has been the business model of EYL, and I'm just following suit with the plan of action is, yo, we got to outwork everybody. No one can put out more content than us. No one can give as much free game as us. We have to be the authority. Rashad called me the authority in real estate 2 years ago, and I looked at, and I called him. I said, yo, why are you calling me that, bro? Like, I really didn't understand where he was going with this, but he's like, no, you're the authority, bro. Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, this nigga's crazy, right? Now, fast forward, I am the authority in real estate, period, point blank. And there's nothing you could tell me otherwise because I believe it now and because I'm consistent and no one's going to outwork me. So all my real estate professionals, you have to be hungry. You got to really want this. And you got to go out here and just do massive imperfect actions every single day to achieve your goals.
Massive and perfect actions. Love
Shout
it.
out to
Love
Max
it.
Maxwell.
Let's get some questions if we can before
let's
before
do
we
it.
round.
Let's
I'm
do
sure
it.
people will have some
Drop some gems
questions
in the
about real
comments, people.
estate.
Let's go, man. This is EYL powered by Recession Proof. Drop some gems in the comments, man. Y'all
Rants
came
and
here to learn.
Rants and
Let's
Rants
go.
and gems.
Let's do it.
Rants and
Melissa,
gems. It came
we
on
coming
6
to you
p.m.
too.
Eastern Standard Time today, too.
That's a fact. Live. Shout out to Welby.
Shout out to
Melissa,
Welby. We
what's
was
going-
live. We dropped mad gems today, too. Y'all better go watch that. Now, I ain't going to hold y'all up. Welby's a savage. Y'all better go watch that episode. After y'all get off of this, go watch the last post. Rants and Gems, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was phenomenal. Shout out to @mybest197. All right.
Melissa, what's going on? You got MG on the line with us.
Hey y'all, how are y'all?
What's up,
Good.
Queen?
I am great. I actually met you so long ago when you hosted an event with Denise, the broker. I was at the brokerage at the time, and I met you.
Wow,
Yes,
that
it was a
like 3
long
years.
time
That was
ago.
like that was like 3 years ago. Wow. Shout out to
It
you.
came up
You're a
on my
top
memory
earner.
feed.
You're a day one earner. I love it.
Oh man, I actually have a quick question. So last year I purchased my childhood home in Florida. We have roughly about $250,000 in equity, and I want to pull it out because the game plan that I have is to purchase an apartment complex, but I don't know if I should pull out a HELOC or a line of equity. So I'm not sure which direction to go in with that. And so I kind of wanted to hear what you may think.
So it's a HELOC, home equity line of credit, and then you have a HE loan, which is a equity loan, right? So there's two options you can do. Both of them are considered like second mortgages, right? A home equity line of credit, it kind of acts like a credit card where you have a 10-year draw period where you can use the money, pay it off, use the money, pay it off, use the money, pay it off, right? And then after 10 years, it could turn into a 20-year fix. Some banks may turn it into a 10-year fix, just depending on the bank and their terms. And so that's a HELOC, right? And you're only paying money that you use. So if you borrow, let's just say $100K out of that 250, if you don't use the $100K, you don't make a payment. If you use 25,000, you make a payment on that 25,000 and not the difference. Now, a HE loan is they're basically giving you that $100,000 the day of closing or 3 days after closing via wire, check, whatever, and you're making a payment the next month, even if you didn't deploy that capital into a project. And it's going to be a fixed rate mortgage, and it will be probably for a 20 or 30-year term. But right now, those rates are probably going to be 9 to 11%, just depending. But so for me personally, I necessarily don't like the HE loans because, again, if I get $100K from it, I have to make payments right away. And I might still be shopping for deals, and I still got to make this monthly payment. Whereas with a HELOC, I have more flexibility with it. Now, once you have that $100K, even if you spend it all, once you start paying down that principal, it's not like you can access that funds again with a HE loan. You're just paying it back. But with the HELOC over that first 10 years, you can kind of move and shake the way you want. So I would recommend HELOC, but my disclaimer, as always, have a plan to make sure you pay back that debt because you don't want to mess up the church's money.
Solid. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Queen.
Melissa.
So what's
Happy
the difference
holidays.
what's the
Happy
difference
holidays.
Happy holidays, Melissa.
What's the difference between a HE loan and a refi?
So a refinance is when you're refinancing your first mortgage, right? So if your first mortgage has a rate of 3% and you want to do a cash out refinance, then you're subject to whatever the market rate is today for that cash out refinance. And you'll have one mortgage. So let's just say you owe 300,000, Rashad, and you want to take out 200,000 on the cash out refinance. Now you're going to owe 500,000, but it'll be at that much higher interest rate where today's market is. So that's why, for me, I would recommend, if you have that amount of equity and you can qualify, I would prefer you to leave that first mortgage alone so you can keep that 3% rate and you get the HELOC in second position or second lien on the property, and you're able to have that flexibility with that capital to use it as you can. Now, I want to say this too with HELOCs. Those of you who have HELOCs that are open right now, be very mindful of this. That money is not yours unless you deploy it. So if you have a $200,000 HELOC right now, and let's just say you only used 50,000 of that HELOC, so you have availability of 150,000 left. At any given moment, the bank can close your line of credit with no warning. So if the economic downturn continues to happen, if we slide into this recession, if inflation continues to rise, if it goes back up, if home prices keep declining, if home values slip and decline further, the banks at any given time can say, you know what? It's too much risk to have this much equity just out there. Let us cut this off so that way people don't go upside down and they risk their investment of being paid back. So I need you guys, if you have current home equity line of credits, be mindful of that, because you'll wake up one morning thinking you got 150K or whatever it is to play with, and that thing will be gone. Be mindful, even with your credit cards. Even with your credit cards, they'll do that on Amex in a heartbeat. That you think you got 100,000 limit, and you got 50,000 now. So just be mindful of that, people.
Keep in mind. Yeah, Dante Walker, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
Well, guidelines.
Guidelines. Yeah. Let's go to Devin. We're gonna go to Devin. Devin, we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on, Devin? It's Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, guys.
No
My question was, I'm in Maine. So my question was, I have two questions. So the first one is, what are some of the best banks to get HELOC from?
The best bank to get a HELOC from, Matt.
I would say always try your local credit union, and always try to like the local regional banks first for your home equity line of credits, because your credit union and your local regional bank wants the local business, right? And they want that relationship. They want you to bring over accounts and other accounts. So they will probably be the first stops that I would go to if I was looking for a home equity line of credit, would be a local credit union or a local regional bank.
Okay. Thank you. The second question is, seller, owner finance. I saw a piece of property. It's a land, raw land, and they're doing a owner finance on that. I want to tap into that because I got my equipments. I do trucking, and I need somewhere to park. How do I approach something like that?
The seller makes the terms so the seller financing, just for those of you who don't know, is basically when a seller is agreeing to basically give you a private mortgage and hold that note, and they would dictate the terms. Now, obviously, you're dealing directly with the seller, so you have room to negotiate with them. So they might say, all right, I'll give you this loan if you're able to put 20% down, and I'll give you a loan for 10 years at market rate of 7%, interest only, but after 10 years it's a balloon payment and you have to pay me back, something like that, right? I'm just giving you guys an example of what it will look like. But you have the ability to negotiate with them if if they are flexible and if they really want to, um, you know, get rid of that property. So I think seller financing is a great tool, but any way you can finance a real estate deal is a great option. It's a great tool. So if you have an opportunity like that, Devin, I would highly recommend that you continue to explore that opportunity.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
No problem, brother.
You. Thanks, Dev. MG, how you feeling? We take one more?
Yeah, keep going, bro. We outside.
All right, let's do this. George Murray, we coming to meet you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted.
Yes, thank you. Hello, how are y'all doing?
Alive and
Doing
blessed,
great,
brother.
man.
Alive and blessed.
Okay, so you entered the game with your real estate license, or you did all of this without your real estate license? Because I heard you say that you were working on loans.
Nah, I entered the game as a mortgage guy. I entered this game as a loan officer, and I actually have my real estate license too. I still have it. I just got to reactivate it. But I primarily focus on mortgage originations. I help people get funding for deals for the past 20 years, over $1 billion funded in my career. I am MG, the mortgage guy, George.
Okay, so you reach out to Florida as well, or
Yes,
just?
sir. Yes, sir. I do all types of loans. I work with first-time home buyers, investors. No matter if you're a first-time investor to savvy investors. I work on commercial deals. I can do rehab financing. I can do development financing. Whatever you want. I'm like Baskin Robbins, George. I got
Okay,
all the
so where
flavors you need.
so where do I go to your page at? Do I go to
All you
YouTube
have to
or?
do, if you want to work with me, apply with MG.com. That's it. Apply with MG.com if you want to get pre-approved, you want a second opinion on the current deal, or if you want to book a consultation with me on my team, apply with MG.com.
Okay, got you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the blessing.
Continue blessings, my brother.
Yes.
Blessings. It's a blessing to be a blessing.
It
All
is
right,
a
Dante
blessing.
Walker, you ready, man? We coming back to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. Appreciate you, George. Happy holidays to you and the fam.
You as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I missed this. I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah. Dante, you've been unmuted, man. What's up? We gave him a second chance.
Tooks, we may have to clip that last one. that last exchange. I kind of like that one.
It's gonna be your next post. Joseph, Joseph Wells Jr., we coming to you. Unmute yourself. You've been unmuted. What's going on?
Guidelines.
That's what's going on.
Guidelines.
And he's gone.
Well, let's talk about this. So part of EYO University is MG the Mortgage Guys, Homebuyers Blueprint, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And can you just talk about what's encompassed in the Homebuyers Blueprint, Volume 1 and Volume 2?
So the Homebuyers Blueprint series is the encyclopedia for home buyers and investors. The Homebuyers Blueprint.
Where'd you get the encyclopedia word from?
From Rashad. I'm telling y'all, Rashad Malaz is the RZA, yo. I don't have no shame in telling y'all this too. I have no ego with this. When he first time he said that shit too, I said, "Oh my God, the encyclopedia." I said, "I'm gonna run that joint." Y'all watching us in real time, y'all. This is live. But nah, it really is this, but it really is though. Encyclopedia for home buying. The Homebuyers Blueprint Volume 1 is 15 plus hours of content, assessments. I mean, you get so any first time home buyer, new realtor, like you can go through that thing and kind of you can get your deal closed. Period.
Absolutely.
It's helped thousands of people close on real estate. And and I'll be honest, I don't even promote all the success of this. And I got to get better at that because there's been literally thousands of people. We be all over the place. And people always come up like, I closed on this. I saved money because of the Homebuyers Blueprint Volume 1. Right. So it's the encyclopedia for home buyers. It's probably my greatest work to this day. I love that course. And it's my baby. And Look, AB took it. AB was doing assessments and took it. And he's like, yo, Matt, I learned all about real estate because of the homebuyers blueprint. So
Mike Brown actually bought a home off of that.
Yeah.
EYO alumni. He was saying, like, he bought the home after studying the blueprint. And the thing about it is, like, the encyclopedia is fitting because you go to school and you study and you learn about a variety of different things, but you never really learn about the process of buying a home. And it's actually extremely complicated. It's not as easy as just going to the bank and buy a home. And for most people, that's the biggest purchase that you're ever going to make in life. So being that there's no education on it, where do you go to know what you're doing? You just don't really know what you're doing. You just kind of wing it and you end up making a lot of mistakes. You don't even know you're making mistakes. So, to have a curriculum, to have, a step-by-step guide in buying a home, and then also how to renovate the home, and, different programs and interest rates and, all of that refinancing and all that stuff is actually extremely beneficial for majority of people because it wasn't taught to you in school. And if your parents didn't buy a home, then even if they bought a home, they might not be
That's not
fully
guaranteed
educated on the
anything, yeah.
process. So it's people take it for granted, but that is actually extremely beneficial educational piece because there's so many different parts of buying a home. You got the entrepreneur loan, you got the jumbo mortgage, you got the refi, you got the veteran loan, you got the the HELOC, you got the 203k, you got the 203k.
You got the home styles. So like volume 2, the rehab pack covers
Rehab pack, yeah.
that covers Fannie Mae home style rehab loan. It covers the 203k in depth detail. That's around 7 hours of information. And what I really want to do is, in all honesty, and I put this in chat like a month ago, but I really want to do volume 3. And I think volume 3 is going to be the best body of work that I've ever done in my life, superseding volume 1, because now there's new information. There's new things that are happening in the world and in the marketplace, and there's a lot of different loan products out there. So I think with volume 3, that's going to encompass heavy investing, heavy entrepreneur, self-employed, and really teaching people how to analyze deals and going through those motions too. So Blueprint Volume 3 will be coming soon. I'm not going to put a date on it right now because I'm going to probably make that 20 plus hours of information to really help people get their game on track, not their wig push back. Like, this is really going to be a dynamic piece of work, and it's only going to be for EYO University, powered by Recession Proof. So if you want to really learn how to fund your deals, fund your investments, and really get the vital information, you got to be a part of this, man. You got to be a part of this. So the Homebuyers Blueprint series is phenomenal.
Yeah, she just asked what she can get. If you're in the chat, then you have access to it right now, or you.
Oh yeah, if you
very shortly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you're in a Zoom, then you already Gucci.
Yeah. And man, I told you this when I first saw it. I think I probably was the first one to have eyes on the program. So it was a complete body of work, and you over delivered. I know a lot of times I feel like, you get a little hard on yourself. Like, I could have added more. And after like going through the course and writing the assessments for the course, I'm like, I'm not sure how you could have. In fact, anybody that takes it, they're going to come out better, and they're going to come out with an understanding of real estate that they never had before. I definitely did. And I have a home, and you walked me through the process of getting another home. So congratulations to you. I know you want to give us our flowers, but I want to give you yours, man. That is a complete body of work. It's an authentic body of work, and it is super digestible. And the fact that people get to assess how they're learning and what they're learning throughout the process makes it even better, man. So congrats to you on the becoming the authority in the field of real estate for our community, man.
Troy, I appreciate that coming from you, because you're an educator. You're professionally trained at this. And when you told me that, I'm like, nah, this shit sucks. like I could do a lot more. And the funny thing is, I said that about episode 12 too, and y'all both was like, nah, it's good. Like I am a tough critic on myself. I'm very hard on everything that I do. And Troy is always that person. Like, no, as soon as I come off any stage or anything, Troy is literally the first person that comes out to me like, yo, MG, nah, like. So I always appreciate you, bro, because coming from you of being a trained professional educator, that means a lot because I'm not trained to do this. I don't even know how I'm doing this today, to be honest with you. I'm just doing what I do. And the blueprint, looking back at it now, I agree 1,000% with you. That thing's a masterpiece. And I'm very proud of it. It's helped thousands of people buy real estate the right way, get good deals. But now I think I want to take it to the next level with volume 3 and just continue my mission. And my mission, fellas, is to help close the wealth gap in real estate one brick at a time. And whether you're buying your primary residence or you're buying investment properties, Black and brown people need to buy real estate. We don't need to really pay attention to the fear mongering. We need to stay the course and stay focused on our mission. Our wealth is disappearing in front of our eyes. And if we have everybody who's watching this right now, we have the opportunity to change the generational DNA of our entire community. And real estate is a big play on that. Let's not get it twisted. I know real estate gets treated like the stepchild when it comes to crypto and stocks and everything that's out there, but let's not forget how important real estate is, because you can't go outside without seeing real estate, period.
Period. With a T.
With a T.
Yep. Very important.
Yep.
Well, MG, always a pleasure, my brother.
Oh, Troy just sent me the picture too. Another one. Yo, y'all dudes on fire, yo. Yo, Market Mondays this Sunday, Madison Square Garden. If you are not in the building with these two gentlemen and the master investor, you know what? Hold on. I want to give away 2 tickets because I brought a couple tickets myself. Let's do a raffle. I want to give away 2 tickets to Market Mondays this Sunday. Like, who should we give this to? Some new earners who come into the new movement, or should we give it to the YouTube people? I got 2 tickets to give away. How should we do this, fellas? You tell me. New earners or YouTube people?
I think we go with the home team, man.
Home team it is. Look, home team it is. Sign up, join EYO University, powered by Recession Proof, and you can enter to win 2 tickets to Market Mondays Live at Madison Square Garden this Sunday, and it's going to be a movie. I'm trying to tell you.
Motion picture event, man. It's going to be one of them ones, man. Floyd Money Mayweather, Jada Kids, Don Peebles, Peter Tuckman. Who else, man? We got my guy.
I hear MG on the bill, though. I ain't gonna hold y'all. MG not on the bill. MG should be on the bill, Rashad. Yo, Rashad, MG should be on the bill, bro. I ain't hear MG, Rashad.
MG will be in the building.
I will be in the building, though. But I ain't on the stage, Rashad.
MG will be.
We got to work out some last minute, you know?
Come on, man. I'm ready, bro. Let's go. You already know what to do. I don't even need to be on the flyer. Just tell me, yo. And that's all I need. Say less.
Say less. Say less, ladies.
Yo, y'all like how I put him on the spot. This is really me and his group text, in the group text with him, too. Like, yo, Shotty, what's good, bro? And he do exactly what he's doing right now. Like, yo, we got to work it out.
Tight schedule.
Tight schedule. Oh
man, yo,
hilarious, yo. But nah,
y'all getting
the Sunday's gonna be lit
to the world. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Nah, it's gonna be lit. I'm super proud of y'all, man. Shout out to Ian. Like, guys, you gotta understand, this is not a rap concert. This is not a comedy show. No disrespect to nobody. This is financial literacy. Invest Fest Euro sold out. Royal Albert Hall. Incredible. I'm telling you, it's going to be Dubai next, Canada, Africa, America again. It's going to be, this is global. And it's all for financial literacy for Black and brown people. This is monumental. This is iconic. This is history books. I don't have nothing else to say after that.
The Rock Boys are back.
The Rock Boys are in the building, baby. Let's go. Let's go, y'all. Drop some gems in the comments if you rocking with the EYL movement. this is international. This is for us, by us, man, for real. I'm super proud of everybody that's affiliated with this, everybody who's out here teaching, everybody who sacrifices to give information. Like, this is not easy. It's hard work, but I'm super proud of everybody and everybody who's affiliated with EYL, the whole team. Like, I'm proud of y'all. Love y'all. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Be safe. Safety first.
Yeah.
And I'll see y'all at the new EYL University, powered by Recession Proof.
There it is.
Let's do
There
it.
it
So
is.
before we leave, just to remind you guys, to join the waiting list, text LEARN to 401-238-7479. The relaunch at EYO University will be dropping on Friday. It is a merger with Recession Proof. We have added 19 courses, which include all of MG the Mortgage Guy's courses, which includes Herman's business credit course, which includes Dan's business course, and a variety of other courses. We got an options course. We got a variety of different courses that will be added into the curriculum. Chapters, 27 chapters, physical like chapters across the country. Interactive classes will be taking place, events. And as I said, the event thing is actually a really valuable situation because, you know, that was part of the thing that really inspired a lot of the events that we do. So the events, exclusive events, just for members. And, you know, we just wanted to relaunch it. We had EYO University for about 2.5, 3 years. And, you know, we achieved a tremendous amount of success. But like I said, you know, being the space that we're in, we always have to try to do something bigger and think in the future and think ahead. And that's the only way you can really be successful in this world, is to never become complacent and never become stagnant. And that was why we felt like, you know, the merger made sense. And this is where we're at. It's going to be something that I don't think anybody in the space, I don't see how anybody in the space can really, you know, I don't know what happens with this situation, to be honest with you, but it's going to be a situation that's going to, you know, really be big, man.
You're
Big as the
witnessing a
sun, probably.
dynasty like no other.
The line has been drawn.
Big as the sun. So text that number, and yeah, we're going to drop it on Black Friday, 50% off on Black Friday, 24-hour sale on Black Friday. And we're going to run it all the way through, man. We're going to Madison Square Garden on Sunday, and then we're going to Art Basel next Saturday. And then we have the real estate expo at Howard University the next Saturday after that. So
can we drop the link? Can we drop the link in the chat real quick?
Yeah, put it in there if you have it.
Text it to me, right, bro?
The Howard University is free also too. So Art Basel is a free event. You can go to our website and sign up for that. That's free, but you must RSVP. And Howard University Real Estate Expo, District of Columbia. That's going to be our last event for the year. That also will be free.
Yeah, and I just put the link. I just put the link in the live chat a couple times. So if you're in the DMV area,
put it in the YouTube chat also.
Yeah, I just dropped it.
YouTube.
Yeah, I put it in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I put it for the earners, so we good.
Yeah, so look, man, that Homebuyers Expo, Howard University, historic. You know, we're gonna fill that place up, a free event for the community. So if you're in the DMV area, please pull up. We got some certified gym droppers on the stage. We'll announce that after Market Mondays, the certified gym droppers. Well, if you go to the link, you'll see who's gonna be there, right? But it's gonna be a ton of information, and it's free. First come, first serve when it comes to seating. Get there early and come out and network with us and come learn and be merry, you know? So this is the final event of the year, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Art Basel, another legendary time, Silky Situations. And yeah, life is great. God bless the trap.
God bless the trap, man. Art Basel.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. 5 mil sold out the Art Basel.
Some Bugattis.
So it's gonna be a night to remember, man.
Yo, man, be safe, y'all. It smells like somebody's cooking upstairs, man. So that's always a good sign, which always means that families are coming together to feast and celebrate each other and share love with each other. So I encourage everybody to do the same. I will be part of the eating committee. I am the chapter leader of the eating committee in my house. And I intend to tend to my duties tomorrow at a very high level. So shout out to everybody that's the chair of the eating committee in their homes as well.
Also, make sure that you drip responsibly during this holiday weekend. That's very important.
Very important.
Extremely. I ran into Fat Joe today at Mike B spot, actually.
I was at Mike B spot earlier. What time you was there?
Around like 4 o'clock.
Oh yeah, I was there like 12 something.
Yeah, so I ran into Fat Joe. So I'm like, "Are you dripping responsibly out here?" He was like, "At all times, brother. At all times."
All times.
So, shout out.
Joey Crack.
Very
Shout out to
important.
Joey. Shout out to Joey Crack. EYO University relaunch Friday. Nothing will be the same. Madison Square Garden takeover Sunday. Art Basel next week. Washington, D.C. next week after next week. An onslaught of high-level interviews coming out. Shout out to Mav Hoffa, my expert opinion, coming out soon. And, we don't stop.
We got a couple bombs.
Oh, 50% off merch. Go to the website. Shout out to Bam, 50% off merch running through Black Friday.
Shout out to Bam. I need some more of those asset over liability joggers, man.
The women's clothes is going crazy. We back lit again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap. Tell a friend to tell a friend. This will be on YouTube. It will also be on podcast outlets tomorrow. Text the number, text LEARN to 401-238-7479. And we out of here.
Love is love, y'all. Be safe.
Happy holidays.